Good morning. Happy Tuesday. James Freeman, in his comment section or in his community section, whatever you want to call it, recommended a video by Pigs Under Pressure. He says that this guy owns the police during the traffic stop. Naturally, I was curious because I haven't seen anybody really own the police. I mean, Jeff Gray does it every once in a while. Kenny Suter used to do it really well. But, I mean, you don't really see cops getting owned very often, unfortunately. Anyway, I figure what the hell, I'll watch it. And in the video, these two guys are going down the road. The cameraman is the passenger. The driver is not the cameraman. They get pulled over by 4 federal agents. 2 federal agents are U.S. Border Patrol. 2 federal agents are, I think, U.S. Department of Wildlife. Anyway, doesn't really matter the distinctions. They are federal agents, and they're the ones who are pulling these guys over. Federal officer rolls up to the driver's side window, asks the driver to roll it down further because it's only cracked. Driver refuses. Is that ownage? I don't know. The cameraman and the driver demand to know why they were pulled over. The officer says, because you went off the road back there. Now, instead of shutting their pie holes like they should, they instantly start to argue their case and tell the officer why they went around. They went around because the officer was half in the road, and you know, they had to go off the road to go around them. And I mean, that's something that you might tell the judge, but that's not something that you tell the officer, because number one, the officer just told you his reasonable suspicion or his probable cause. I don't know which he was considering it at the time. But either way, you're confirming that fact. So that's one reason why an attorney will tell you to shut the fuck up, because you just confirmed, you literally just confirmed, your words can be used against you. You have confirmed that you have gone off the road. I mean, until that point, until you confirm it, unless he has it on dash cam or something like that, it's the officer's word against your word when you get to court. And you can say, no, I didn't go off the road. Or you could say nothing at all, and the officer's still going to have to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. So, I don't know if running your pie hole and telling the officer that his reasonable suspicion or probable cause is in fact true is really good, and recording it, obviously. The rest of the video just consists of the cameraman who asks if he's being detained. He is technically detained. If you get pulled over, if you're a passenger in a car that gets pulled over, you are detained. The whole car is detained. The Supreme Court has held that you're detained. Most people don't feel they're free to leave at that point. Now, the guy did ask if he was free to leave or if he was detained, and the cop said no, which does give him the freedom to leave, but he's out in the middle of nowhere. I think that if push came to shove, under a Fourth Amendment like search and seizure analysis, he would still be detained, because I mean, he was literally in the middle of nowhere. So it's not like he was really free to leave, but that's a different topic for a different time that isn't really relevant to the video. At the end of the video, the driver has given up his license and registration. The federal agent has run it and has generated a ticket. Now, how a federal officer could generate not a ticket, excuse me, a warning. Federal officers don't enforce state traffic laws. They just don't. So that kind of got me wondering. I have a sneaking suspicion that they were on federal land of some sort. Maybe an Indian reservation, maybe a federal park, like a national forest or something like that. National park. It just makes me believe that they were on federal land, because if they are on federal land, then the federal officers would enforce state traffic laws while on that federal land, if that makes sense. But off federal land, they wouldn't enforce state traffic laws. So makes me think they were on federal land. Anyway, I didn't see anybody owning the cops. Here's the thing. When the cops are out there, they can't respond to you. I mean, they have to be polite. That's kind of, they're generally required by their own policies. It's not illegal for them to snap at you and call you a fuckface retard, but it is generally against their policies. Most departments, most agencies have policies that they're supposed to treat detained people and arrested people and witnesses, etc., politely. They're supposed to be polite. Generally speaking, obviously some departments may not have that particular regulation or whatever, but that's why normally you'll see officers saying sir and things like that. It's because it's part of their job to be polite, to be respectful, you know, up until the point where they have to make the arrest, and then they still make the arrest as politely and respectfully as possible, still calling you sir, etc. So yelling and screaming and calling officers names while they just smile and do their job around you doesn't feel like they're being owned. It feels like you are impotently raging at them and it is not affecting them at all. I mean, I didn't see any of the officers in the video get upset over this guy calling him names. I mean, there was nothing. So it's a very low bar that we have apparently in today's day and age over what owning a cop is. But, you know, I guess if you're James Freeman, any win is a win. I wonder when these morons are going to get it through their heads that what happens at the traffic stop is completely immaterial unless and until you get it in front of a judge, and until you get the law changed, either through legislative action or some sort of a ballot initiative, or maybe having a judge find it unconstitutional in some fashion. Until that happens, cops are going to continue to do what cops do. And if you don't like it, then calling them names on the side of the road is literally useless. It is not owning the cops. It's just showing that you got upset over what the cops are doing, and it has no effect on the cops themselves or what they're doing. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.